Today I want to talk about a topic that is both important and very useful. It is Taylor series. The theoretical basis of Taylor series is that complex functions can be approximated by simple polynomials because polynomials are computationally well-behaved, easily differentiated, integrated, and evaluated, making them ideal for representing complex smooth functions over specific intervals. And Taylor series for analytical functions and Wester's approximation theorem provide the basis. So what is exactly the complex functions? It means trigonometric, exponential, and logarithm. Those are called transcendental. This means beyond simple. Of course, it's beyond simple because it's not simple. What is the simple polynomials? So simple polynomials is combination of coefficients times x raised to powers. C of n times x to the n. And we have a combination of each terms, and n takes 0 to infinity. So we can expand that, which is basically c0 and x to 0 plus c1 x to the 1 plus c2 x to the 2 plus c3 x to the 3 plus ... and until plus cn times x to the n, right? So after that, we're saying that you can have some c0, c1, c2, c3 until cn that are different, and the power of x is different. Well, the idea is how we're going to approximate these complex functions. We call it f of x. Let's think about it. So over a specific point, so that's x and y axes, there's a point here. If there's an original function, let's say it behaves like this. If we want to approximate this function around this point, we can say that, okay, the zeroth order, no, let's call it g of x. Zeroth order of g of x is equal to the f of x. Make it simple at point 0. Zeroth derivative of g of x is equal to the function f of x. Maybe it's better to call it p of x. The zeroth derivative of p of x at x is, so it's very important, f of x, f of 0 at point 0. So this is f of x, okay? It's very similar. So what is exactly zeroth derivative? It means value of the function itself. The polynomial, right, I forgot that it has to be called a p. A p represents polynomial, okay? The polynomial's value at 0 is the same as the value of the f of x. Can we say that this p of x, p of 0 is equal to the f of 0? Can we say that around this point, values are similar, and at exactly 0, their values are the same? And if I want to approximate f of x by p of x a little bit better, we could manage that. We could manage something in order to make p of x first derivative at 0 equal to f of x at 0's derivative. The derivative means rate of change. The key word here is to change. The changes means that when you're moving around this point, in other words, you're changing the value of x around a point. If the two functions has the same rate of change, could we say that it has a better approximation around the point 0? So we're trying to get this function like the polynomial like this. P of x prime. So if the rate of change is similar, isn't it better approximate than just have the value is the same? The rate of change is same, has a better approximate around this point than just having the value of the p equal to f at 0. And if we think a little bit more, can we better approximate this function around the point 0 if we make sure that the second derivative of p at 0 is equal to the f of x at 0 is the second derivative. So they have the same rate of change. If that's the case, then can we better approximate this function to nth order derivative of f at 0? We manage p at 0 nth derivative as well. We can make sure that they're the same. They have every higher order derivative at this point the same. Could we make sure that they are the exact same function? They're exact the same function. F of x equals g of x. That has to be n approaches infinity. And in calculus, Taylor's theorem gives an approximation of a k times the differentiable function around a given point by a polynomial of degree k. That's called the kth order polynomial, Taylor polynomial. For a smooth function, the Taylor's polynomial is the truncation at the order k of the Taylor series of the function. This is called Taylor series. And everything around here is called truncation at the order k. We call it kth order Taylor polynomial. Kth order Taylor polynomial. And what is the k? This is the k. So next, you would be wondering, how do we manage? So to approximate a function using this idea, right? We're going to highlight it. Here's the idea. If we made sure that this n is infinity, we could change this approximation to equal sign. And if this is truncated at any order, that's not going to have an equal sign, right? So next, we want to try to figure out what is c. C's. What are the c's? If we understand what are the c's, we can figure out the entire function. So that is the idea next. Okay, if there's an equal sign, we could say that f of x equals c0 and x to the 0 is 1, so we don't write it anymore. And there's a c1 times x to the 1. We're not going to write that as well. Plus c2, x to the 2, c3, x to the 3, plus cn, x to the n, right? So we take the derivative of f of x. All right, let's do this. In this case, let's figure out what is c0 first. How do we get it? Okay, we make x 0. So c0 is what? X to the 0. If x equals 0 here, so all the rest of the terms will be eliminated. And the only term that's not affected is c0 times x to the 0, because x to the 0 is 1, no matter what value x takes. So from here, we can get c0 is f of 0. Its original value, we call it 0's derivative, right? Over x to the 0. Now we have already found that c of 0 equals this expression. Now we're trying to figure out what is this c1. In order to figure out what is c1, we have to make this x to the 1 becomes x to the 0. In order to make that x to the 0, we have to take the derivative of the polynomial, because we know that x to the n derivative is n times x raised to the power of n minus 1. So in order to make x to the 1 becomes x to the 0, we take the derivative of the both sides. So the left side becomes x raised to x prime of x equals a c0 is a constant, because c0 times x of 0 is x f to the 0 is 1, and c0 is a constant. And a constant, when we're taking the derivative of a polynomial, we're actually taking the derivative of each term. That's I believe, a property of taking the derivatives. So c0 is 0 because that's constant, and c1 times x to 1, it becomes c1 times x to 0, that's 1, right? That's c1. If that's c1, we're going to the next term. It's 2 times c2 times x plus 3 times c3 times x to the 2 plus until cn. That's n times cn times x raised to the power of n minus 1, right? And in this term, we can make f of 0 prime equals, basically plug in the 0, x equals 0. It's a 0 plus a c1 plus 2 times nothing. That's 0. The sum will be 0. The only term that is not 0 is x to the 0's power, right? Yeah. So now we could figure out that we can't really figure out anything. Here we could only get the f of 0 equals, because everything else becomes 0, c1. So c1 is the first derivative of f of 0, right? So next term, maybe it's not really a good idea to make this, but I think there's a good point here. Now let's keep doing this. So the next we're trying to do is we need to highlight what we got here, and then we could later improve our understanding. This is the polynomial, and this the first derivative of the polynomial and the function. This is the second derivative of the function and polynomial. We're going to calculate here now, because c1 is a constant, that becomes 0. We don't write it. We could write it 0 plus, so we have here 2 times c2 times x. The constant can move out of the derivative operation, so, and that becomes 2 times 1 times c2 times x to the 0. This term's derivative. Yep. And the next term's derivative is 3 times 2 times c3, the 3x to the 1. That is plus dot 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 n times n minus 1 cn x n minus 2. And what's next is going to be, or write another one, f third derivative of x is 0 plus 2 times, no, that's gonna be 0, I think. Oh, that's gonna be, yeah, because this term is a constant and it's a 1. If constant, it becomes 0. And plus c3 times 2 times c3x to the 0, and we have 1 here, and plus n minus 1 minus 2 cn x n minus 3. Yeah. And the pattern we could find here is that if we made both this term x equals 0, so we could try to see that. So what we can find that we made this term 0's power. So what we can find here is actually the value of c3. If we made x equals 0,